So you can double click also and then use your shift and leftward arrow to highlight the ST. After which you introduce your format cell dialog box by pressing your Ctrl+1. Okay? And you come to your effects and select Superscript. And then you say, okay. That does it for us. Of course, you can autofill if you so desire. This is actually very easy. All right. Now, if this is easy, like I suppose it should be, let us do the subscript. Please, in 30 seconds, do your subscript and then screenshot and send it on the chat. Please, everybody, I want to be sure we are all following. Okay? Let's do that quickly and then we move on. Thank you. And data separation is a method of data cleansing. Okay? You could have the data just as we do have in this data set, where the full name, where the first name and the last name are in the same cell, all right, in the same column as we have in this case. So you will be required to separate them. And you can use two major things. One is your text to column wizard, and two is a flash fill, okay? So let's start with the text to column wizard. For text to column wizard, you will need to highlight the entire column. And I remember we said you use your Ctrl-Shift downward arrow to do that, okay? Now you go to your data tab ribbons, you go to your data tools group, and then you click on your text to column wizard. When the wizard comes up, you select your delimited. It's always highlighted anyways. Then you click on next. And we agree that your delimiters are your separators, right? And separators could be comma, it could be hyphen, it could be space, and anything. And in this case, our delimiters are your comma and your space. So when you get to the wizard, you check your delimiters, which we agree to be comma and space. Once you do that, under the data preview, it will show you a preview of your data being split already. And once it's what you want, you can click on finish. And then you say, okay, you can see our data has been split already. It's very simple, all right? Now let us split again, having the first name here in the first name column as it should be, and of course the last name in the last name column as it should be. All right, so I am going to do that also while I expect you to watch and see. Okay, someone is having issues trying to connect. Let me just update him to use the first link. Okay, basically what I'm saying, we already split the data, but then we didn't do it properly. So we are trying to get it right this time, having your first name where it's meant to be, and of course your last name where it's meant to be. So let's go back and highlight the entire full name column, right? And then we go back to our text to column wizard. Now, by the time you click on your next and check your comma and space, the next thing to do is to click on next again. And then in this destination axis, you click on it and then remove your letter D. and then you type in where you want the data to start, which is your column E. All right. So let's type column E, and then you say finish. It tells you there's already data here. Do you want to replace it? You say okay. Now to give us the perfect separation we want. Now you can delete this guy. As for deleting, delete from the first name. Just right click on it, and then you click on delete. You say delete entire column. Once you do that, your data is well placed the way it should be. I want to believe this is very clear. So let's Ctrl Z and then see how to use flash fill. Flash fill is very easy, and it has one rule. And the rule says, do the first one yourself, and then flash fill will do others for you. Okay? It's very easy, like I said earlier. So let's do the first one ourselves. All you need to do is to write out the name the way you want it. So you write Martin, comma, and then you press enter. And you press your Ctrl E, which is the short form of your flash fill. Then you go to the last name colon, also do the same thing. John, enter, and then Ctrl E. That resolves it. Of course, you can go back, highlight this, and then you delete. Go to entire column, and then you say okay. And then you're good to go. I want to believe this is very clear. It is very, very clear.
Sorry, my network has been off and on, and I can't even, I wasn't following from the beginning.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Fanny. So sorry. So sorry. All right, so for Mr. Fanny's sake, Mr. Fanny, where did you miss from? Or should we take the entire data separation again?
Yes, the entire data separation.
All right. Okay, so let's do that. We began from this point, right? And we have done the text to column wizard separation. So let's do that again. For text to column to work, you need to highlight the entire data you're separating, which we've just done. You go to your data tab ribbons, you go to your data tools option, and then click on your text to column wizard. It's usually in delimited, and we agree that delimiters are your separators. Okay? Then in your preview, you can see how the data is already. All right, say joined together. So you click on your next. Ensure you check your delimiters in the data, which happens to be space and comma in this very case. Once you've checked them, it will separate and give you the preview here in the data preview segment, and you can say finish, and then okay. It has split the names. But then this is not what we want. We want a situation where full name will be where it's meant to be, likewise your last name. So we are going to separate again and getting it right this time around, right? So what do? You undo. When you undo, you go back to the same place, text to column wizard. This time around, you also click on your next. You check the two places, comma and space, and then you next again. Now, you will observe there's a place called destination. Your destination picks where the data began from, which happens to be, as you can see the address, it's saying $D, $5, which means the data began from D5, right? But then we want it to start from E5, which is where our first name column is. So what do? You delete the D and then replace it with E. Once you say finish and OK, it will separate it the way you want it. Now, if you had replaced that D with G or any colon, it will start from that point. I want to believe this is clear. So you can comfortably delete this guy so that you can have your clean data, just as we have it. Okay? All right. Let's look at flash fill. Flash fill's rule is do the first one yourself, and flash fill will do the second and third and the rest for you. So let's go. You type the first name as you want it, Martin, comma, and then you press enter, after which you press your Control E. All right? Last name, the same thing. You type the name, John, enter, and then Control E. All right, so I believe that is also clear. Now let's look at this particular data here, where you have a kind of unprintable character, not really unprintable character, you have the $ before the names in each of the names we have in this data set.
Sorry,
And we are trying to,
please.
all right, Mr. Obina, go ahead with your question, sir.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Mr. Obina.
Okay. This data separation, the one you just did last. What
Okay.
if in a situation where you have the names separate and you want to join them together? How are you going to do it?
All right, if you have the names separate and want to join them together, you can also use your flash fill. All right. Flash fill can serve as a name joiner. You can also use your ampersand or your concatenate to join them together, like we did on Saturday. All right, so let's separate them and then use your flash fill to join them this place. So let's say join using flash fill. All you need to do is to write the name the way you want it. Martin, comma, John. Enter, and then you do your Control E. You see it has joined the names all together. And of course, you can also use your ampersand and your concatenate to do the joining. All right? Okay, so let's move on. I hope that has answered your question, Ms. Abina.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So let's look at these names and see how to use the same text to column wizard to remove these $ we have at the beginning of the names. All right. So you also have to highlight, go to your same text to column wizard. This time around, you click on your fixed width and you click on next. Okay. Now you have to pick this line from 10 and drag it anywhere behind names. And you click on next. You see it has removed that $, and you can say finish. It will kick it out. Then you can comfortably delete this one. And then you have your data without the $. I want to believe this is equally very clear. And as a result, we can move on unless somebody else has a question. Please, does anyone have a question? If you have a question, please, you can pause the class or you can raise up your hand in the chat box. Okay, I'm not seeing any question here. That means we are all together and we can continue. Thank you very much. All right, let's look at how to remove the middle name. Removing the middle name. This is very easy. And all you need to do is to press your Control H. All right? In the final words, you type space, asterisk, and then space again. Replace with, you type nothing, and then you say replace all. It has removed all the middle names. But I realized that for you to remove it and have space in between, you need to create a kind of space. There should be like a two, how do I put it now? Two-line spacing at the end or before or between the middle name and the last name. Just like I did in the first place where you have Martin, Ike, John. So if I do this again, let's see, you can see there's now a space between Martin and John. Likewise, David and Christian. But for the other ones, it lumps it together, which shouldn't be. So this is more like a disadvantage while you're using this particular one. Please, if your background is noisy, I beg of you to mute, okay? Otherwise,
Okay,
I may
sorry.
have to mute you from here.
Yeah,
Or you wanted to ask
ask
a
a
question?
question. Just
Okay, go ahead. What's the
yeah,
question,
sorry.
Madam Neka? What's the question?
Okay. Just for you to repeat this last how to remove this middle name again, please. I was
Okay,
somehow lost there. When you are
okay.
control here, what next do you do? Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so for the middle name, you can click anywhere in the data set. You press your Control H to bring up your Find and Replace dialog box. In your Find What area, you type space, you hit the space bar once, you type your asterisk, hit the space bar once again. In your Replace With segment, you don't type anything, and then you click Replace All. It will remove all the middle names and have only the first and second name. All right? And I mentioned for this to be done properly, there should be a two-line space between the middle name and the last name, just as I did in the first name, which is Martin John, and then David Christian also. All right? I believe it's clear now. So I beg of you, people of God, if you have any question, please, I beg of you, pause and ask your question. We all need to get it right. All right. Now, the next one is flash fill. That's using flash fill as a joining factor. So Ms. Abina's question already took care of this. So if you all understand what I did when Ms. Abina asked this question, let us do this. Let us use flash fill to join these three names. Can we all do this, please?
We'll do it.
All right. So let's take 2 minutes and do this. When you're done, copy the answer rather, and have it on our chat here, either here or WhatsApp group chat, anyone that suits you. Okay. So the request is use flash fill and join the first name, last name, and initials. All right. So we have 2 minutes to do this, and our time starts now. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm back, and I'm seeing just Miss Obina's work. Or did we post on WhatsApp? I've not seen anything on WhatsApp. So why are we, Madam Nick? I've not seen your work. Mr. Ifani. Okay. No. All right. Please, let's share if we have done it. So let's share the answer so that we can co-catenate. All right. You may want to pay attention here because so far so good. I have seen that we are a bit struggling with this, and it's actually normal. It's normal. Okay. It looks confusing, but then it's something you can crack. So let's start with ampersand. We agree that ampersand is the symbol and it shares the same location with your letter 7 or your figure 7. And the way to decode it is anytime you are joining anything, there must be an ampersand in between. If you want to write Emeka and then space, that space must join to Emeka with an ampersand. If you want to join Emeka and then you put full stop, all right? For you to add a full stop, there must be an ampersand, okay? Or you want to write letter A dot E. There must be an ampersand because we have 3 characters now. We have A, E, and then dot. So you must have to join the 3 of them with 2 ampersand. All right. Now let's see how this goes. Remember, ampersand is a formula, while concatenate is a function. I believe you remember the difference. So let's start with ampersand. You write your equal sign, and then you pick the first name. When you do, you now introduce your ampersand, which is your shift and 7. And then you pick the second name, and then enter. Now, because we did not introduce the character for space, that is why it joined the 2 without space. So let's go back and then do the right thing. Your equal sign, you pick the first name, you introduce your ampersand. The next thing would be your space, and your character for space is your inverted commas. You open it, use your space bar to put the space in between, and then you close the inverted commas. The next thing is to introduce your ampersand again. and pick the last name, and then you enter. You have the two names joined together perfectly well with your space. Now let's do concatenate. Concatenate, remember, like I said earlier, is a function, okay? So what do? You write the function concatenate, and then you select it with your tab key. Text 1 is, of course, your first name. You put your comma. Your text 2, of course, would be your character for space, which is your inverted commas. And then you put your comma. Text 3 will be what? The second name. And then you enter. Very simple. I believe this is clear. Now, let us do classwork. You can always autofill. For our classwork, please use ampersand and concatenate to join the two names and have something like this. Have it like this. Match, comma, and then space bankers. So let's take 5 minutes and produce this for both ampersand and concatenate. I want to believe we can do this. Can we? Yes, we can. Please, if we can, let's take 5 minutes and produce this. Thank you.